Hey, let's take a look at the Singxer SA1. I don't know a ton about Singxer, but what I do know about them primarily is that they make digital stuff, right? DACs, clocks, digital to digital converters. And so this is, I'm not sure if this is their first, but this is their only headphone amp that I'm aware of, just an amp. There's no DAC in here. It's not a combo unit. Coming in at $600, so definitely going head to head with things like the A90 and whatnot. It does, similarly to the A90, act as both a headphone amp and a preamp, which is pretty nice. You've got your balanced in, single-ended in, and then the same as outputs. While we're back here, mains power. And then on the front, you've got a choice to go between pre and headphone amp, XLR and RCA, and then high and low impedance, which is pretty sweet for headphone matching. These switches are a joy. Always, they're little, but they're really nice, and depending where you have this on your desktop or in your rack or whatever, it's just really convenient to kind of have that no look switchy. And having the preamp's pretty cool, right? So if you had this on your desk as a headphone amp and then you wanted to run a pair of active speakers as well, you could use this as the pre for both. I got a bunch of headphone out options, your 4-4 balanced, your single-ended 1/4 inch, and your balanced 4-pin. I didn't have a 4-4 to play with while I had this, but I do have plenty of cables and headphones for 1/4 inch and balanced, and in my experience the balance sounded a lot better than the 1/4 inch. Volume knob is nice, resistive, smooth. I wish it were a little taller, like just a little. I don't think I have huge fingers, but like if it's not right in front of you, it was like a little, like your little slippy grippy. Minor niggles wiggles. And then on the bottom you do have, and I think you're supposed to switch all of them at the same time, but you can have like 0 dB of gain or maybe 11 dB on high. I ran it on high because I was trying to drive some harder to drive headphones as well as some easy to drive dynamics, and so wanted to just mostly left it on high. If I didn't mention it, it's Class A, it's balanced, puts out like 6.5 watts at 32 ohms. That's closer to like 400 milliwatts at 600 ohms. So very powerful despite its small package and Class A architecture. The build's nice, it's nothing crazy. It's just the old black anodized aluminum. But feels good, feels solid, looks decent, not like blown away, but it's a little black box. We see a lot of those. But like I said, I do love these switches, and I do like all the options they give you for headphones, and I do love that it's a preamp just from a feature standpoint. How's it sound? It sounds really good, like really nice to my ear. So you guys who watch the channel know I do lean more towards tubes when it comes to amplification, although I've heard some great solid state stuff. And I think this is sort of straddling that line a little bit, in that it's giving you a lot of that detail and refinement and impact that you would expect from solid state, in super dark backgrounds, with some of the fluidity and timbre and just naturalness that you'd hope for from a tube rig. So to my ear, this thing sounds really good. It's got a nice amount of space in the presentation. Bass has like good heft and impact, even with some harder to drive planars. The mids are really great. I think that's where this unit shines. They've got a fullness and a weight to them, like a sort of a fluidity and organic quality that's really like puts you at ease, and music just sounds like music. I'd say maybe the mids are just like a touch forward, like just a pinch. It's nothing exaggerated. It's just satisfying. Vocals kind of come out of the mix a little bit in a very pleasing way. The highs don't have maybe like that laser crispness of like high-end amps that I've heard, where things just sort of jump out of thin air at the top and then decay off. There's plenty of detail in the highs, though. I mean, like, these are like nitpicks with a lot of this stuff these days in audio. I think if that was like a big criteria for you, that you wanted like detail and super tight crispness and like the airspace. Like I don't know if this is the amp for you, but for me it's really nicely balanced, lots of detail in the highs and just really pleasant. Extension and decay are nice. Things kind of go on. Like a ringing bell won't ring forever, like I've heard on some other really good amps, but it doesn't drop off suddenly. Like you know, the note feels like it ends as it should in the real world. Yeah, what else can I say? This thing is a sweet little. It's so tiny. It's just such a nice little. I've been dealing with so much big gear these days that it's just really lovely to have something so easy to live with and move around and yeah. So I guess summary from my end is, if you want the be all end all word and like clarity and transparency, I don't know if this is going to be the amp for you, but if you are a human and you like music that sounds like music, and you also want nice weight and impact in the bass, and you want mids that feel natural and demand your attention, and you want a good amount of separation and clarity, but you're not like freaking out on like hyper tiny crisp detail, I think this is it's really good. Yeah, I'll leave it at that. I think it reminds me of things like the GSX Mini a little bit, which is a much more expensive amp, and that it has that balance of detail and fluidity that's so hard to find. Yeah, I threw some really hard to drive headphones at this, and it did remarkably well for the physical size and price tag. So I'm impressed. And then also like with very, very high sensitive dynamics, it was dead quiet in the background and just sounded great. So yeah, I dig it. I can easily recommend this guy if you're looking at something in this price point. So all right, until next time, my friends, Signcraft signing out.